Don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. There we go, all pretty again. Hi everyone, it's Mike here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today for Steampunk Tuesday, I'm going to create a 6x6 card. It's a thinking of you, kind of get well soony kind of card that I'm in need of. Unfortunately, Dad has gone into the hospital with a minor stroke. He's okay, he's fine. No long-lasting effects. It's not the first one he's ever had. But he's in for a couple of days for observation. So I just want to make a little card for him just to cheer him up a little bit. So my thought for this card was I wanted to create a complete one layer card with stamping, but also using masks. So stamped masks rather than like liquid masking fluid or anything like that. Just using pre-stamped images that will mask over to create a kind of idea of depth without actually having any depth. I'm also going to try and do it in a kind of monotone, so in brownish creamy tones, if you get my drift. So let me turn over to my overhead camera and I'll show you hopefully what I'm going to create. Okay, so I have a piece of watercolour cardstock cut just shy of 6 inches, so it fits nicely on the front of a card blank that I've also cut from a piece of creamish kind of card. I've not been too particularly bothered about getting clean crisp edges on this because I'm going to rough up the edges of the card anyway, just to kind of make it a little bit more steampunky, and I will be doing the same thing with the card front, but that will fit just over the top, just like that. And this is going to be the front of the card. So the first idea that I wanted to do was, obviously with a little bit of a steampunky twist, I've got the wrong piece of card there, haven't I? It's that one that I want. Duh. Okay, is I'm going to create a layered background using some stamps. Now I've dipped into what I call my orphan stamp box, which is a box of rubber stamps that I've lost the laminates for. I'm not really sure what the name of the stamp is or where it actually came from, but in this case I know where they all came from. I just can't remember the name of the set that they come from for all of it. I can remember some but not all of them. So pretty much this is what I want to do. So I've got the big butterfly stamp from IndigoBlu, so that is going to go onto the front of the card there. However, what I want to do is I want to mask off the middle so that there's a hot air balloon. See, that's where the steampunky elements come into it, in the middle. And then we're going to have a quote or a phrase or a sentiment. In this case it says, "Let your dreams fly." Now I have no idea what stamp set this one came from. None whatsoever. But that's going to go there. Again, the hot air balloon is from IndigoBlu, but that's one stamp from a set, and I'm afraid I can't remember what the name of it was. I probably would be able to find it if I sat down on the IndigoBlu website and trawled through all their older stamps, because I'm sure that it's probably still available as well, but you know, I just haven't had time to do that because my mind's been on other things, as you can imagine. So that's what I want to do there. But also in the background I want to use this kind of blueprint pattern, which comes from another IndigoBlu stamp set, which I do remember the name of. This one is from a stamp set called The Draftsman. So we've got Big Butterfly, The Draftsman and the balloon, which probably, knowing IndigoBlu, was called something like Fantastic Voyage or Around the World in 80 Days or something like that, but you won't be able to miss it. It's one stamp. It's an A5 stamp set, so a larger stamp set, and there are other little elements, sentiments and stuff in that set as well, but it's there. It's there if you look for it. And if I have time before this video goes live, I will list the stamp set either on the screen here for this one, or I'll put a clickable link to IndigoBlu's website in the description below. So you can go across if you wish and have a look at what they've got to offer. No commission. Not on commission at all. Most of the pity. I wish I was. Let me just have a quick sip of some juice. Didn't get too much sleep last night. I'm a bit hoarse, so you'll have to bear with me. Okay, so the first part that I want to do then is to put the first layer down. Is going to be this background stamp. So what I need to do is I need to first of all mask off this area here of the butterfly, because I don't want that pattern where the butterfly is, if you get my drift. So I've got a glue stick. This is Elmer's Clear. It's washable and it's a repositionable glue stick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of that glue there, a little bit of that glue there, and hopefully this won't come off. It'll just hold this in position long enough for me to be able to do the stamping that I want. So I'm just not going to stick it down, I'm going to push it down, because I just want to lay that one over the top, because that's exactly where I want that to go, just to make sure I've got the right kind of height. There we go. See, I should have pushed it down, shouldn't I? Because I've just moved it now. Oh, one of those days. I actually put the balloon stamp down after I'd stamped the mask for it yesterday. I put it down, I came in this morning, and could I find it? No. It had completely and utterly vanished. And I even got Ian to come in and have a look to see if he could find the stamp, and even he couldn't find it. So I'm hunting away, went away for lunch, came back, walked in, and it was there on the desk. And both of us had already looked for it. So what does that tell you? We're both either blind or somebody's playing silly beggars. Right, so I'm going to use Stays On Ganache. Yes, Stays On Ganache, which is a nice brown colour. So first of all, let's just, he says drop in it. Let's stamp that one over the edge. And I'm just going to go around, just repeating the pattern, and I'm not going to go exactly the same way all over. So there'll be different bits of pattern all over it. Oh, do you know that ink pad does not want to stay in my hands today? So I'm going to turn that round that way. So let's go over that way. Do it up there. There we go. Just to kind of keep it random, let's turn that round so we get a cog in that corner there. Stamp that. So there's a little bit of a gap there. So what I'll do is I'll just stamp along one side and just go down that. There you go. You see, you'd never know, would you? You'd never know. Right. Put the lid on that. We can get rid of that now. Put that to one side so I don't lose it. I just need to wipe that up, because otherwise I'll get my elbow in it. And I've just realised I've made a huge mistake. There you go, you see. The best laid plans of mice and men. But that's fine. Okay, I can get round that. What I wanted to do is leave a gap, didn't I, for the balloon. So, and I didn't want any bits in there. So what I'll do, I've got a paintbrush and a little bit of white paint. See, I did say this was going to be a trial and error, but I think it's good occasionally when we see where people have gone a bit wrong. Just grab a paintbrush and let me just try and diffuse that with that white paint. Of course the mask is also providing a mask for the paint too. As long as I remember to lift it off. No, which I won't be able to do. So I'll be able to lift it off before it dries. So we said about there, didn't we? So is that going to be enough? I think so. I think that is going to be enough. Just take a little bit more of that white paint down there. And there's we have it. So let's have a quick look. Yes, perfect. I think that will do just nicely. Okay, so what I want to do now then is I want to take the butterfly off. Da, da, da. And then I want to stick down that's it. Stick down. Perhaps I should have let the paint dry first. Dope. Do you know, nearly made another schoolboy error. Okay, so we reckon about there, don't we? So I'll push that down there, and then I can bring the butterfly in, and where, yeah, that's going to be fine. Just want to make sure that that butterfly stamp is kind of dryish for when I'll just lay it over the top. Okay, stamp platform. Just in case. Just in case. Right, so let's get that down. I did say this was going to be trial and error, didn't I? Alright, so I might have to get my head in shot a little bit, so please do forgive if I'm just out a little. Oh, my head's in shot. I think we're about there, aren't we? Okay. So what I need to do now is just ink that up. I'm going to use Spiced Chai, so a different shade. So not the ganache this time. Okay. Fingers crossed this is going to work. If it doesn't, I'll just have to go out and buy a Get Well card. Okay, but the beauty is it should. Look at that. Am I happy with that? I think I am happy with that. So at this stage, I'm now going to peel off the balloon. And then we'll get the balloon, and then that should theoretically line up about there. I think that's where we had it. And again, take the butterfly off, pop that down. So that should I think maybe just a tad that way. It's a difficult one trying to get it lined up where you've kind of had your mask. Do you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to go for it. And again, I'm going to use the spiced chai. Spicy tea. Got an interloper, look. Get off. And just go for it. Just go for it. Now, with any luck, when I cut the balloon out, if you notice that there is a whitish line, I've left a gap all the way around, just to kind of create that little bit of a border. When I did the butterfly, I also cut it just a little bit wider, so that there will be a little bit of a border around the butterfly as well. So it just helps it stand out a little bit more if you manage to get your lineups correctly. I'm happy with that. I am so happy with that. Okay. So, oh dear, I'm just going to put two of those together. They shouldn't have been put together, that's it. Right. Put that to one side. I'm done with that glue. I am aware I've still got the sentiment to stick down, but what I want to do first of all is just grab some distress inks. And I should have somewhere, if I've not tidied up too much, a water brush. A water brush with water in it. There. Let me just double check to make sure that and you see it's got blue on. Didn't want blue on. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of fabric, a little bit of tea dye, and a little bit of rusty hinge. The fabric I'm going to squidge. I've got a water brush. So I'm just going to pick up, no I'm not, because do you know what? That's not water in that one. And there'd be no point using that one at all, because that's got bleach in it. Oh, I can't believe. So that one then must have, that's got water in. So let me swap the lids. What did I do? No, I'm not going to swap the lids. Oh, look. That's it. Just make sure it's fairly clean. I really need to invest in some more water brushes. Just have to wait for a bit because it's skint. Right. Let's pick up some red, and then what I want to do is just give that balloon a little bit of colour. Now, bearing in mind we did put some white acrylic paint down here, and we're going on watercolour over acrylic paint, so it may bobble a little bit. I may have to come back and just add a little bit more with maybe one of the archivals, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I'm liking that so far. Okay, let's just get rid of that. I'm so glad that I've noticed that bleach first. Oh, it could have been so disastrous. Right, clean that off, and then this time I want to come in with that rusty hinge. Which is a nice kind of terracotta-y colour. And then just kind of add a little bit of colour to the outside of these butterfly wings. And I'm sort of diffusing it as I'm coming in. Because the more water you add, the lighter it gets. I do want it a little bit subtle. It will sort of dry lighter. Don't do enough watercolouring. It's very cathartic. It's very relaxing. You can do it and just forget yourself, really. Here we go. Look at that. Like that. And then we'll take some of that tea dye, which is a darker just a little bit more of interest. Just kind of flick it in. Just like that. Doesn't that look pretty? Well, I think so anyway. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Okay, in fact, that's Dad just ringing from the hospital now. I'll just take that. Okay, I'm back. That was actually a mistaken pocket call on Dad's part. He's obviously picked up his phone and accidentally rang me, but it was funny because he was talking to the nurse and I could hear everything that they've been saying. Okay, so that's kind of dry. I've added a little bit more red up there while I was waiting, listening to the conversation between my dad and the nurse. So what I've got now is I've got some antique linen distressing, just ordinary. Now this is fairly old, so I'm not sure whether it's still juicy enough to actually work or whether or not. Let's have a look. There might be a bit more, yeah, there might be some more I can grab out of that. I'm just going to go around the edges. There we go. Remember I said I wanted a kind of creamy, neutral kind of look. So this is pretty much what I was hoping for. Just that off kind of white. Old papery feel. It's easier to get it up off the mat than it is actually off the pad. Or it feels much easier anyway. There we go. So we've got that nice kind of antique linen look, old papery kind of look. I'm hoping that the camera is picking up the colour and it's not too bleached out. But we've got that. So what I want to do as well is just grab some of that rusty hinge. I'm just going to use the same ink blending foam. I don't really think there's a need to do two. And I'm just going to just catch the edges. Just to kind of give it that edged border, a little bit of a frame. There we go. So hopefully the camera's picking that up a bit better. You never know with these cameras, with the exposure and the brightness of your cameras and your lights, whether or not it's actually going to pick up some of the colours at all. Look at that. I likes that. I likes that a lot. Right, so let's get rid of that. I should have some kitchen towels in here, but I've run out and I've forgotten to replace them. I'm rubbish sometimes. Okay, so there's our image. Now, do we think that is going to work if I just stamp that over the top? Will you be able to see it? Do you know, I don't know. Or I don't know whether I should just leave it as it is. Let me have a think about that for a while. In the meantime, let's see if I can get this stuck onto the front of the card. So, like I said, I will go around and just distress the edges a little bit anyway. But it's my own fault really, because I used an old trimmer. I'll tell you what, how's that? Just give it a quick sand. Emery board, if you haven't got any paper bits sticking up and you want rid, so if your cutter's not exactly sharp, I think actually I might be able to get away with that. Okay, so we've got that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some spirit glue to glue it on. Normally I would probably use double-sided tape, but because I need to make sure I've got, okay, all dribbling out, I've actually got it all centred in the right place. I need a little bit of wiggle room. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so tell my brain's not working properly today. Just put the lid on upside down. Right, so spare piece of card or paper, and I'll just put that into the middle there. The card I'm using has got a bit of a texture to it, so it's almost like a linen effect. So let's just try and get that in the middle. There we go. Is that straight? That's as straight as it's going to be, I think. And then just get a cloth, and if I've got any spare bits of glue that might be hanging about. That's fine. I'll wait until it's dry, then I can remove that little bit of excess from there. So we've got butterfly wings, we've got an air balloon, we've got steampunky cogs and blueprinty bits. And I think what I'm going to do, I'll just turn that round that way, bring in that stamp press again, and I think what we'll do is we'll add the sentiment to the inside of the card. So let's just stick that in the corner there. I'm having one of them. I really am having one of them days today. Should have stayed in bed. Okay, so I think that's going to be it on the inside of the card, and we'll just ink that up using the dark ganache. Total dropsy today. Look at that, it's made a complete mess of it. But that's fine. What I can do is I can stick a piece of paper over the top and do one on the computer, because I've made a mess of it. But because, you know, because you've seen it, I'm going to keep it in the video. Because we all make mistakes. That was rubbish, wasn't it? I'm glad I didn't do it on the front. Whew, that would have been a big mistake, wouldn't it? So, do I want to distress that edge now? I don't know, I think it looks alright as it is. I don't think I actually want to add any more, because I'm probably in danger of ruining what I've already done. So I think I'm going to call that a day. So, there you go. Let your dreams fly. That's what we'll call this. Rubbish. I'll just stick a piece of paper over the top and I'll print something off on the computer. Well, in fact, let me do that and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've just had to adjust the exposure settings a little bit, just because as soon as you drop white in, everything goes haywire. There we go. So I've just created that panel on the computer. I just printed it off onto just some cardstock. Then I'm just going to grab the glue and I'm just going to really carefully just add a little bit into the corners. If you make cards yourself a lot, you could do a foldable insert, you could put any kind of insert in here you want to, but I'm only putting this panel on here because I've made a dog's dinner, no offence Bentley, stamping the inside. So rather than waste it and throw it, we can recover, hopefully, and turn it into something a bit nicer, a bit more finished. And also that white card then allows for us to have a little bit of space to be able to write our little message to Dad while he's been prodded and poked with needles and testing equipment in the hospital, which is never fun for anybody. There we go. And there we have it then. So all I need now is a little envelope. He says running across to the west wing to grab one. There we go. So a nice little creamy envelope. And that is my little get well soon card for Dad. So I hope you enjoyed watching me create that one layer sort of card. If you did, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already for more videos like this one, then you can do so by clicking that button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.